Hello. Equipment used. Episode 2. Finally. After what? How many years? Let me have a look when the last one was uploaded. Jesus Christ, it's been nearly 2 years. Coming up in August on the 15th. It'll have been 2 years since the last equipment used video. So, let's talk guitar shit first and foremost. Such as my EQ pedals, the amps that I used, and just overall, which one of these things did I use for the album? So, in terms of the pedals that I used for grinding power, 60% of this pedal board, pretty much. The Harley Benton Classic Chorus, like the same one on Dreams from a Dark Fantasy. My tube amp sim, which was also on Dark Fantasy, halfway through production. And a Digitech Ricochet. The Ricochet was pretty much just my equivalent of a whammy pedal. For songs like Living for Music, Crowned, I think. I could be wrong. Let me have a look. Okay, well, I've just had a look, and as far as I'm aware, Living Through Music was the only song that used, like, whammy as in the wow wow, kind of like going up and down and shit. All of the songs used whammy for the bass, because I don't know if you've noticed, I don't own a bass guitar. I used to have one back during, I think, the Dark Fantasy recording sessions. Got rid of that thing, didn't need it anymore. I believe at the time I still had my Behringer 7-band EQ pedals, because I had two for some reason. I felt different. I was like, you know what would be fun? What would be cooler than one EQ pedal? Two. Let's get a 14-band EQ on this bitch. And it's why it sounds a bit crap, in all honesty. The two pedals that are this end, the noise reducer and the music guitar 5-band EQ, those are ones that I used later on. Those did not come into play anywhere on grinding power, I'm fairly certain. So that's it for pedals. Actually, no, that's a lie. Forgot my trusty wah pedal. It's still got a patch cable attached to it. Fuck off. But yeah, this thing, my Behringer Hellbabe, it's my only wah pedal, and I like it. I still think it is based off the Crybaby from Hell, because it's got the little dial and shit. I'm fairly certain I said that in my Dreams from a Dark Fantasy equipment video. But hey, I'm re-emphasizing it again. Why? Because I can. I don't do this shit scripted. Get the camera right. Brief Ralsei cameo back there if you saw it. When it comes to pedals, that's what I used. So let's move on to what I believe is amplifiers. When it comes to amps that I used, it was the Harley Benton HV20R. It did well for a time. I'm fairly certain either towards the later end of the album or midway through, I could be wrong, I swapped the stock speaker in it for a Celestion speaker, the Celestion 815. Initially, when I started recording the album, it had the stock Harley Benton speaker in it, and it kind of sounded a bit muddy, and I wasn't really too keen on it. So that's why half the songs on Grinding Power have completely different tones from one another. I was messing about with better settings at the time. Granted, you won't be able to tell, because GarageBand compresses the audio quality so badly that it's, yeah, fun. In terms of guitars that I used, the guitars I used for Grinding Power were very varied. Harley Benton wise, I used the red and gold Stratocaster that I had in the previous equipment used video. Long since moved that guitar on, it's no longer in my possession. I have had a similar guitar since for recording On All Cylinders, but we'll get to that when we get to On All Cylinders. We've still got 2 EPs to go after this. In terms of other guitars that I used, got my Harley Benton EX84 Modern. It's changed a lot, as you can tell, in the last 2 years. I've completely refinished it. EMG pickups in there now. It's not got the stock Roswells that it came with, but it sounded a lot muddier than the EMGs did. But it got the job done. My RG600, my one true love. I will never part with this thing. I think this is public knowledge at this point. That was used to record, I'm fairly certain, like 100% of the album, if not at least the original takes for the album, which I will get into. I believe my Epiphone Goth Explorer, which I do actually have still. I didn't go into detail on this in the last video because I don't think I really used it for Dark Fantasy. This is my Epiphone Goth Explorer. I do believe it's the 2005 reissue. This thing probably got used a lot in the album as well. It was probably my second main axe after my RG600. The only downside to this thing, it's heavy as fuck because it's an Explorer, so I don't tend to use this one as much, especially given how massive of a guitar it is. So when it comes to the overall recording process, yeah, this album kind of broke me a little bit. It was an absolute nightmare at points. There were some days where I recorded just the guitar loop tracks and the drum tracks, and I was like, yeah, this sounds pretty good, this sounds awesome. And then I'd dial my amp and tone settings a little different and be like, right, this sounds different, and like some of the other songs, time to re-record it. So I'd do that. And then on days I'd be like, actually, that original version was quite nice, I want to go back to that. So it was a pain in the ass. Now, in terms of overall time that it took for Grinding Power to be recorded, it started roughly after, like, I want to say a month, or hell, maybe even a week after I finished Dreams from a Dark Fantasy. At the time, I thought it would be a good idea to be like, hey, the Dreams from a Dark Fantasy sounded pretty good. I want to do another studio-based album. Didn't happen. All throughout that remaining year, there was just like ideas coming and going, and a lot of scrap songs actually that didn't make it on the final cut of the album. I'm fairly certain one of the songs that I recorded literally sounded like Piss by Pantera. I love wearing inspiration on my sleeve, but this is just straight up plagiarism, holy shit. So along that time, I was still trying to figure out like, oh, which studio do I go to, how much money do I need to save up and shit. And during that time is when I released the entry-level Groove Metal Experience EP. Eventually, it just got to a point where a lot of shit happened in 2023 in my personal life that kind of just boiled up, and I said, fuck it, I'm not going to a studio, I'm gonna do this shit at home like I did with the Groove Metal EP, and I just sat down, cranked out some tunes, and hoped for the best, re-recorded them God knows how many times, and it completely just took me out of the whole wanting to record an album thing. It's why I started doing like singles for like 2 minutes. Yeah, Grinding Power really was just like an accumulation of some stuff that I had brewing during or after Dark Fantasy, and the amount of self-hate and rage and just problems that was going on in 2023. But yeah, overall, the equipment that I've used, like all my pedals, all my guitars, all the software, that's pretty much it. That's Grinding Power. Will I do an episode 3 about entry level? Because realistically, episode 2 should have been about entry level. Probably, I don't know. Depends on whether or not I feel that EP is worth discussing. But yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you want, choice is yours, I'm not going to force you to do that. My name's been James O'Teef, I'll see you in the next equipment used video, if I don't take 2 years to make the next one. Ta-da, love.